got a big fat script for you today. Hi guys, and welcome to this video. This video is gonna give you everything you need to know about how you can change your mindset and your attitude to become a better person and do better things with your life. My name is Imogen and I am your personal life coach. No, I'm joking. But these are some things I've done in my life personally, so I have experience of what works and what doesn't. I like to think that I'm very mature. No, but seriously. So let's talk about how your mindset and attitude can affect your life and the everyday sort of things that come with having this right mentality and the right mental attitude towards these things. So I'm gonna start with, look at this fat list here. Ooh, mad. So I'll start with the attitude side of it. So I've got some bullet points here and I'm just gonna talk about them, give some examples, all of that stuff. I'll start with positivity because it's the main thing, and basically it's just seeing the good in everything and making sure your mindset thinks in a positive way instead of negatively. So you want to be thinking positive thoughts that will bring you up instead of drag you down. And if you can think about things that will bring you forward and bring you up and lift you up instead of thinking about all the bad things all the time, your mental health is going to be better as well. This brings me on to the second point, which is willing to learn. So instead of thinking, oh, why am I in this situation? What have I done to be in this situation? You should be thinking, oh, what can I learn from this? How can I go forward? How is this going to affect me in the future? What can I learn from this to become a better person? Or what can I learn to improve myself if this should happen again? And how can I improve my response to it? How can I improve? Like, how can you constantly improve yourself and learn and become better? Another example of attitude change can be looking for opportunities. So you can't just be sat around. We can, but you're not going to get as much out of it. You want to be actively seeking opportunities for you to, like, if there's something you want to go into in the future, you need to get some work experience in that field. Start finding out best places that do work experience, for example. I'm using work experience as an example here because that's what I've done myself. If there's a certain field you want to go into, get in contact with some of the people, email them, sort out some work experience. You can't just wait for things to come to you. You have to actively go out and seek them if you want to get any like good places or just like in general. So the next point I'm going to talk about is a really big one. I think it applies to a lot of people. And I think it's part of growing up, it's part of maturing, it's part of becoming older. You start to see things and you start to see things in a different way. Like, your priorities are different, what is important to you changes. And a big part of that is emotional intelligence. So I'll read out the definition now. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions. People who possess this trait also have the ability to understand and influence the emotions and behaviour of others. And with this understanding, some people enjoy greater successes in life. So that is what emotional intelligence is. The characteristics, or like the 5 main characteristics of becoming emotionally intelligent. Having emotional intelligence are these. So you want to have self-awareness. Self-awareness is being conscious of your own feelings and motives. Emotionally intelligent people demonstrate high levels of self-awareness. You know how your emotions affect others, and you don't allow emotions to control you. So one of the things that I can pick up from this is knowing when you become the toxic person, knowing when your behaviours are starting to become like wrong, and noticing that in yourself. Like, don't rely on someone else to like correct your behaviour. You need to notice it yourself so you can do something about it to become a better person and improve your like self. The second one is self-regulation. So people with the ability to self-regulate don't make impulsive decisions. You pause to think about the consequences of your actions, basically. So be aware of the consequences of acting impulsively. Like, what I like to say is, if you feel an impulse, sit with it for like 5 minutes or so. Feel that emotion, feel it, just sit there and feel it and recognize you're feeling this. And then once you sat with it for like 5 minutes, you'll be probably a little bit calmer than you would have been, and then you don't act as impulsively. But if you do still need to react, you react with compassion and empathy in what you're saying, if you need to react that way. So the third point is motivation. So this is about being productive, and you have this drive within the way you think. Like, you have a destination and you want to get there. It's about the long-term effects and the long-term goal that you're striving towards, whether that is financial independence, financial freedom, for example. You have the end goal, you have a way to get there, and you're motivated to want to do it. And everyone's reasons for what they want to get are different. Everyone's reasons for where they want to be are different, and that is their own way of motivation. So you might not necessarily have the same motivation as someone else, but if your goals are the same, you can like work together. So the next point of emotional intelligence is having empathy, and it says here, I'll put like, you're less likely to be self-centered. Instead, you empathize with others and your situation. You tend to be a good listener, you don't really judge, and the understanding of the needs and wants of others. For this reason, you are seen as a loyal, compassionate friend. So what I take from this is that you're not self-centered, and you don't think everything is about you all the time. Basically, you need to understand there is more that is going on in the world, that you are not the center of everyone else's world. You want to see the situation from the other person's perspective. You want to put yourself in their shoes, try to understand. The key thing is to understand how they are feeling and why they are reacting in the way they are, and you need to try and understand their thought process behind it and understand why, or if something is affecting you or something is affecting another person, try to understand the reasoning behind why they feel this way. And if you can do that, then you can recognize how you can best help them forward. If like a friend comes to you and they're upset about something, and you can understand where they're coming from, or if someone brings up something about you and how you have like hurt them or something, understand where it's coming from. Don't automatically defend yourself. I'll come on to that a bit later. The final part of emotional intelligence is your social skills. So you can work in a team, like collaboratively, and you can take criticism when it comes to it without being automatically defensive. And I will come onto that defensive side of things a bit later, because I have a bit more to talk about that. So that's the attitude, like mentality, that I want you to take away from this. So now we are going to talk about the mindset. I've got quite a lot on this. So the first one I have here is things that are worth it and require hard work obviously do not come easy. Hard work and dedication does often lead to success, but you need to remember that success is not a straightforward path. You have to fail in order to learn, in order to progress. You cannot expect to do something and be perfect at it and have it go in a like straight line without having to fail or without having to learn from your mistakes, because mistakes are an integral part of learning and becoming successful from learning from your mistakes. How you respond to criticism as well will also determine how successful you are. So when someone criticizes you or says something that you might take offense to, you have two options. You can either take it to heart and deep it and manifest that thought in your brain until you believe it, or you can take on board what they've said and then just take what's useful out of it. Sometimes there might not be anything useful in it, and then just brush it off and learn from what they've said. If it's just like hate, you have those two options again. You can either brush it off or manifest it in your thought until you believe it. And the obvious option here is to just brush it off, and if it's a comment, just delete it. Like, you don't need that in your brain, you don't need that in your space, you don't need that in your life. This brings me on to my next point, which is people's opinions. So the only people's opinions that should matter to you are your own. The only opinions that should matter to you are those of your own, like how you see yourself, and how people whose values and morals you respect see you. If someone does not value you or your time, then their opinions do not matter. I'm talking about opinions about you, not like overall like political or something like that opinions. The people you have around you will affect your mindset and will affect your progress towards your goal. That is just a thing. So if you want to progress better or have the right people around you, you want to make sure they have the same mindset and goals as you. So you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, and there's this thing called the law of attraction, that basically, to sum it up, you have to surround yourself and your life with things that are like you. Yeah, so you just go research that if that's interesting to you. And I've written this next thing in capitals, so I'm just going to read it off the screen because it's very important. You're not going to succeed if you see other people's successes as a threat to you. Use other people's successes to motivate you to do the same. If you see other people succeeding and you get angry or jealous, then you're not going to succeed. Become better and channel the negative energy you put out into yourself to become better than a self-depreciating, self-hating, toxic person. This goes the other way as well. Do not be afraid to cut toxic people out of your life. They are not going to benefit you in any way possible. It's for your own benefit. So basically, to sum all of the mindset stuff up, is the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. So the fixed mindset is like avoiding failure because you don't want to fail. You just want like the status. You want to look good. You have a desire to look smart, but you're not actually going to use your brain to think in a smart way to grow and progress forward. You are going to avoid change because you are scared of it. You are stuck in your roots. You don't really want to change how you think. You don't want to change the course of action to fit your progress the best. You're unwilling to learn from your mistakes, because you are unwilling to make those mistakes in the first place, because you're so focused on avoiding change, avoiding failure, and trying to look smart. And you're unable to take feedback because you get defensive, and it's just gonna... So compare that to what's called the growth mindset, where you have a desire to learn, you have a desire to improve, you want to improve to get the best results. You enjoy challenges because you learn more in the process, as well as becoming a better person, I guess. You embrace change because you know that it will be good for you to experience it, and it will be good for you to grow from in the long term, and you can look back at it and think, oh, I learned so much from doing that change, for example. You're not afraid to fail because you know that you need to fail in order to succeed and learn from your mistakes. And you learn from feedback, and you use feedback, and you use it to improve your ways, you use it to become better, and in that you flourish. So the last point I want to mention is about self-esteem and self-confidence. It can only come from you. You cannot rely on other people to be your source of validation and self-worth. I'm just going to say that again. You cannot rely on other people to be your source of validation and self-worth. You just cannot do it. That is called codependency, and you do not want that to happen. I'm just going to explain that for some of you. So codependent relationships signify a degree of unhealthy clinginess where one person does not have self-sufficiency or autonomy. Autonomy is the ability to make your own decisions about what to do rather than being influenced by someone or being told to do it. One or both parties depend on their loved ones for fulfillment. Anyone can become codependent. So you don't want to be relying on anyone else for your source of validation. You want to know in yourself that you are worth it. You want to know in yourself that you are enough. You know what I mean? If you're interested in like the symptoms of being codependent or whatever, I'll put like a picture here because it's quite interesting actually. So overall, basically, self-love needs to come from within yourself, and you can't get it from anywhere else. It needs to come from within you. If you want any other videos on like how to get self-confidence, how to get self-esteem, how to improve it, just let me know, like comment down below if you have any other types of psychological videos, I guess. And another point I'm going to give you is some books that you should read if you want to grow your mind. So these are the books that I've started reading. How to Win Friends and Influence People and Think and Grow Rich. There we go. So this one, I will just read to you one of the points in it. Okay, so it has basically, to summarize this book, it has how to handle people, how to make people like you, how to win people to your way of thinking, how to be a leader. Yeah, so this book's very good. I will read to you the summary of, in a nutshell, fundamental techniques of handling people. Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Principle 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Principle 3. Arouse the other person an eager want. I can't read. Arouse in the other person an eager want. You know what? I'm also gonna read to you the other one, because why not? In a nutshell, 6 ways to make people like you. Principle 1. Become genuinely interested in other people. Principle 2. Smile. Principle 3. Remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Sticking on that. Principle 4. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Principle 5. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Principle 6. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Go get this book right now. I'll leave a link in the description. This book, however, a game changer. I'ma just read a little bit of it to you. Napoleon Hill's proven steps to riches are as valid for today's reader as they were for his contemporaries. All who read, understand, and apply this philosophy will be better prepared to attract and enjoy these higher standards of living that always have been and always will be denied to all those except who are ready for them. Be prepared, therefore, when you actively follow Napoleon Hill's Be prepared, therefore, when you actively follow Napoleon Hill's precepts to make major changes in your approach to life. It will pay off in enabling you to enjoy a life of harmony and understanding, as well as setting the stage for you to join the ranks of wealthy people. It does not, however, clearly show you how to read out loud. So yeah, that's the end of the video. If you found this useful or you found any of the points interesting, remember to give it a big like. Thank you very much. Comment if you found any of this interesting or you want any other like expanded videos on any of the points I mentioned, because I will happily do so. And and subscribe for more mindset / attitude / fitness videos, and I might just do some random challenges as well, like for the bants, you know. Okay, goodbye.